Bonjour les enfants, faites attention s'il vous plaît. Ça suffit. I said, enough. That was me, 40 years ago, a rookie French teacher in my first job. It was an exciting time. I was engaged to be married. I just graduated from training college, and I had the offer of a well-paid teaching job overseas. But there was a problem. I needed a reference from a school in my own country. I didn't have that. So I applied for short-term jobs in my home city of Glasgow. And finally, I got one. Springbank Secondary, 3-month contract, French teacher. Perfect. Not exactly. Springbank was the toughest school in the roughest part of town. My first week, a senior teacher known as the Devil takes me aside. Listen, son, you want to do your best, I know. Just remember, these kids, they're bandits. Every one of them. Bandits wasn't the actual word he used. I was assigned to classes at the no-hopers end of the school, 13 and 14-year-olds who didn't see education as their route to a better future. My first month was a baptism of fire. Not that I was struggling to keep order, because that ship had sailed early on. I was just trying to stop chaos from becoming outright mayhem. Things came to a head the day I confronted one of the ringleaders by accident. On a good day, Big Billy Arnott was like a dog, a surly dog looking for trouble. This was not a good day. This day, he was an angry bear, and he was trouble. In desperation, I went up to his desk to bang the lid down and catch his attention. What I didn't notice was his hands were inside the desk. Bang! Right onto his knuckles. Before I had the chance to ask if he was okay, he was up and heading for the door. And where do you think you're going? I'm going home. Going to get my dad. I did not like the sound of that. Billy's family had a fearsome reputation. I did not want to meet Billy Sr., certainly not then. So why did I say what I said next? That's right, William. You go home, bring your father back here, and I'll explain exactly what your behaviour's been like. Astonishingly, Billy paused, and for once in my class, you could have heard a pin drop. After an eternity, Billy turned around and went back to his desk. After class, I went to the principal to tell the story. He listened, worried. I was worried that my reference and my career were in jeopardy. He listened to me in stony silence. And then, things will get easier for you now. Really? You must have noticed my classes are chaos. I'll tell you what I've noticed. This is a tough school, and you are doing your best. In my book, whether things are smooth or rough, your best is always good enough. His words stayed with me, and in the days that followed, the class was quieter. My confrontation with Billy seemed to have had an effect. And in that quieter space, some learning did take place, just not French, and not just the kids. We'd moved on to a part of the course that talked about the lives of French teenagers. I asked the children if their lives were like the lives in the book. And now the children, including Billy, are speaking. And I am listening and learning things I never knew about poverty, about addiction, about violence. Do you remember a time when you saw that you had everything wrong? These kids were not bandits, more like heroes, adults before their time, doing their best to keep a family together, trying to protect younger ones, or just trying to survive. I don't think anyone had ever told them whether things are smooth or rough. Your best is always good enough. The week I was due to leave, the students of 2F7 asked to see me after class. I didn't know what to expect. But it wasn't wedding presents or cards wishing me well. Not in French, but made with their own hands. I was stunned and moved. And even now, across 40 years, I got my reference from Springbank, the passport to my new job. But those children gave me something else, a point of reference for people doing their best when life is difficult. And a point of reference for you if life is difficult at the moment. The boss, with a family member, with money worries. You may not have the answers today, but if you can say, hand on heart, I am doing my best, then you will have your reference. Because whether things are smooth or rough, your best is always good enough.